And while it is deadlift day, notice that I am putting on my squat shoes, as I will be doing something that I haven't done in a long time, but served me very well in the past. And that is speed squats before deadlift to prime me for some explosive movement. And this will be something that I haven't done in a very long time, but I did for quite a few years before all of my deadlifts in the past. So we're going to bring it back today as a test to see how it works. And if the results are, well, we keep it. If everything falls apart, then we dump it. So we're going to try this today and see how it goes. And this is something that I implemented in a great deal when I was highly focused on increasing my vertical jump. Now, I was doing that with box jumps, depth jumps, broad jumps, sprinting in multiple capacities, as well as utilizing these in multiple variations. So we're just going to start back at the beginning, straight bar, some accommodating resistance, trying to be as explosive as possible, although I will hold back some because I don't know how my body will react with the strong force out of the hole, which is why I'll be using this box as a depth check, just so I can touch before exploding out. I will not be sitting to the box. It'll be more of a, okay, touch and go kind of situation. And using these, as well as variations of jumping in the past, I added about 6 to 8 inches. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I added about that much to my vertical height. That's a standing non-step vertical jump. I went from not being able to stand in place and touch the backboard to where I can stand in place and hit the rim. My overall goal is to be able to dunk a basketball. Doing so, I need to increase my vertical height. Obviously, I had to take a step back due to the injury. I cannot jump at full force currently, as that kind of explosive movement causes a bit too much aggravation. So I've pulled out all jumping, sprinting, and really explosive movements altogether. This will be the first implementation back. As I've noticed, I'm getting to the point where I can move heavier weight in both squat and deadlift, but I'm lacking in the area of out of the hole on squat and off the floor on deadlift, which is where I used to be quite explosive. And I've noticed that I move very slowly out of those areas, mostly out of precaution, but also out of my lack of strength and ability in that region. So we will be starting very low with some explosive movement to hopefully over the next several weeks, at least build up a little bit of speed and explosivity where I need it. Okay, that's not terrible. And I did one warm-up set before this with just throwing 25 on each side from the first warm-up set. So now we're going with 2 plates, with this being a squat bar at 55 pounds, these being another 5 pounds. That makes it 225, 230, 245. So we're at 245 pounds. Jesus Christ, the goats are going wild. You guys can hear that, right? Plus about 100 pounds of band resistance. So we are keeping this very light. This should move extremely quick. We're going to do 6 singles with a short rest, about 1 minute, and that's it. We're not trying to gain strength here. We're not trying to get any hypertrophy stimulus. We're just trying to move the weight quickly and as technical as possible. Again, I'm using this box as a touch point, not to box squat. It is going to be the point of where I say, okay, go. And here we are already at the 6th and final single. Again, pretty quick, 60-second rests. Let's finish up. And now time to deadlift. And because we've already warmed up with squatting, we're jumping straight to 4 reds, 220 kg for our first warm-up set with a whole bunch of band tension, because we don't need to waste a bunch of time warming up with the lighter weights. We already warmed up our body squatting. And building off of last week, we've kept the green bands on our second pin-up. We were at 1 band in the front. We've now went 2 bands in the front, bringing our total band tension at lockout to around 180 pounds. So we have a total of 140 with the greens and about 20 or so each pulling away from me at the front for the top end of 180. Not the greatest. So we're shaping up to have an amazing day already. Not only can I not get any good lighting, as it's pretty cloud covered and the rain is coming in soon, so the lighting is absolutely terrible out here. I can't seem to get myself and the weights in frame no matter where I put the freaking camera today. And I'm just failing all these lifts terribly. So this, for whatever it is the top designated single as far as banding goes for the day. Let's hope that with a little bit of straps, I can make it at least somewhat successful. As I've always had a little bit of issue using hook grip when it comes to bands. Now, that very interesting sound you hear, if you've never heard it before, is when goats are in heat, and I have this horn dog bull goat that is chasing around one of our ladies, and he is a horn dog. Anyway, so bands tend to pull and roll the bar out of position for me. So I've always had a terrible time trying to hook grip with bands. So we're going to go for our top banded single with straps, remove the bands, remove the straps, and go for our straight weight top single with some real grip. Okay, strap saved us on that one. Let's see what happens on the real top set. Okay, we'll try again. That was a fluke. Fix it. Try again. Let's go, baby. Ha! Let's go. And maybe not the greatest training day I've ever had. Failed that hook grip banded single earlier. Had a pretty hard struggle on that top single that was banded. Failed to break the bar off the ground with the hook grip single, coming back and then successfully lifting it, but it felt like it was stapled to the floor and it got really heavy at the top. So I'm not really sure how these working sets are going to go, but I'm going to do my best to make them work. So since I've owned this leg press a little over a year now, this is the angle of the back pad I've used. But for the first time watching the previous videos, I think I'm going to angle this one click up. And with this slight angle adjustment, I will get a little bit more hip flexion into this, which will bias slightly, ever so slightly, towards the glute, which is kind of what I'm looking for. With the low foot placement, I'm already getting a large amount of quad activation, but I am looking to include a little bit of glute, and with this higher back pad, I'm hoping to get a little bit of that. So let's see how it feels. And that was actually much better, and I am going to keep the pad at this angle. And the closer we get to competition day, the heavier the weights are getting. So I'm noticing areas that are the weak spot now that the weights are getting heavy enough to expose those weaknesses. So as in the leg press, I'm trying to get a little bit of secondary glute activation there. We are now removing the stiff leg deadlifts, which are majority a hamstring and lower erector movement. I'm now going to do conventional RDLs. In my opinion, probably the best glute driver for strength that there is. And on my squat day, I am doing the sumo RDLs. While not so much of a great glute movement, but it does have more specific relation to the actual movement that I'll be performing in competition in the sumo deadlift. So that's why on the squat day, I'm choosing the specificity route in the sumo RDLs. And today it's really just a glute strengthening movement in the conventional RDLs. Pretty good starting weight to build up over the next several weeks.